Scaling partners different because corporates have struggled to work effectively with early stage businesses. Culturally, they're so different.
What we think the UK hasn't cracked yet, that it really can, is that extra secret weapon of big companies working really closely with startups and early stage businesses and really effectively.
They miss what their real superpower is, which is their access to clients and their brand power and the potential synergy between the small business and the big business.
You can benefit so much from the network that the company has, startups can benefit from the expertise that the corporates have, but similarly the corporates can benefit from the cultural shift that comes from working with early stage businesses. We're taking a completely different approach. We give the startups we work with dedicated people, hands-on help, who sit with their business. These people understand what it means to work in a startup, but they also work in a big corporate and they can bridge that gap, and their job every day is making sure all of the potential benefits to those two partners who have both bought into this relationship are seen and brought to fruition.
And it works for everyone. It works for the startup because the big company is motivated by growing and growing the value of the equity, and it works for our clients because they get trusted innovation through Capita and our portfolio of high growth tech businesses. So how do you actually unlock opportunities for a startup? You don't just become a shareholder in a small business and drop it into the big company and the synergy between the two of them magically appears. It takes a hell of a lot of hard work. You need to put pretty senior resources on that partnership, and they need to be incentivized, motivated. They need to have gravitas and impact within the large company, be able to pull people together and enable people to see what this partnership can bring.
You've got to make it win for all parties. So one of the things that's really important to us is when we're pitching one of our startup propositions to a Capita client, we've thought it through, we've thought through why is this relevant for that client, why should they care, what's the benefit to them? And the people on our team are always thinking like, how can this really exciting piece of innovation generate a real business benefit for the customer that we want to get it in front of?
What's really smart about what Matt and John have done is the way they deploy really talented salespeople into the mix that can support both the startup business and the Capita business. They've really taken the time to think about our strategy, how we can align cultures, and they're hands-on enough to know when to intervene and when to step back. And that's worked really effectively for both sides.
I think if you ask any corporate on the street, they will say they want to do more with startup companies. And the same is true of government actually. They realise that it's important for their innovation stream, it's important for social value. Startups are a great creator of jobs in the UK, and the more we can support them, the more that's going to happen. And
that not only creates an opportunity for the startup, if you do it in the right way, it creates potentially a quite strategic opportunity. You're not talking about hundreds of thousands of pounds revenue deal, you're starting to talk into millions, and that's game changing for an early stage business.
I think there are lots of barriers to startups when they're trying to approach large corporations. The first one is trust. The thing that's great for us is when you've got a big corporate sat beside the startup, they overcome that trust barrier straight away. We do our due diligence on the companies that we work with. We get technical expertise in and subject matter experts as well. And that gives our clients good comfort that we've done our homework before we bring innovation to them. The final thing is simply having the relationships that you need to make things work.
It can be scary to contract with your first big company, and we've seen it from both sides now. So we've got a portfolio of small businesses. We sit on the board with them. We very much understand the context of their concerns.
The way that we've been able to engage with, develop relationships with, and build trust with these brands quickly, we would not have been able to grow as fast. Nowhere near if we didn't have the backing of Capita, the help of scaling partners, and we're able to build direct relationships with these brands. Absolutely fundamental. We would not be where we are right now without those relationships.
Once you've sat in a startup and you've sat in a corporate, you realise actually their aims and the motivations of the people in the business are often quite similar. But you really have to sit on both sides of the fence to see that, and we're very privileged in getting to work with some great corporates, but also some really exciting early stage businesses, and see the commonalities they have as well as the differences.
Before we started Scaling Partner, it was quite different, I suppose. We were both big company people and doing sort of large transformational deals. And suddenly I'm focused on an early stage business where £100,000 of revenue is super meaningful.
I think for me the biggest difference in what we do at Scaling Partner to previous jobs is the level of personal relationships you build with people. Obviously, personal relationships are fundamental to everything in business, but when you're dealing with the founder of a startup company, it's about more than just work. To be honest, it's enjoyable being on that journey with them. If you find the right people and the right chemistry and the right relationships with the people you're working with, you can have a lot of fun along the way, and actually the things that you achieve can be incredibly fulfilling together. They're friends for life.
Yeah, quite literally.